Gordon, and welcome to Watch and Code Office Hours session number 108. Just a couple of logistics before we start, and thank you for joining. If this is your very first time, the way this works is really simple. The objective is there's one sole objective. It's to help you get through the material on Watch and Code. And so if you're stuck with anything, you can ask me directly, and hopefully I'll be able to answer your question or at least point you in the right direction. So that's the whole point. I know that when you're doing online, you're studying alone by yourself, it can get kind of discouraging, especially if you get stuck. So I want to make sure no one gets into that position. A couple of logistics before we start. The first thing is you'll want to join the Facebook group to hear about upcoming sessions, updates in case there's schedule changes and that sort of thing to office hours, and also just general updates about Watch and Code if you're interested. So you want to join that Facebook group. Second, if you do have a question, you must call in. I'm only going to answer questions from students that have called into this Hangout. So if you're watching on the YouTube live stream, the call-in link is in this document, and this document is linked at the bottom of the page. So if you're watching on YouTube, just click to the bottom of the page. There's a Google Docs link, and you'll be able to grab the call-in link right here. In terms of content updates, I believe it was yesterday, I released a new video to people subscribed to Premium, and this is in the underscore series, kind of the last series that you'll do if you are a student here. And just to give you a sense of what it is, so only a couple students in this call are at that position right now. So like Joe, I think might be the only one. And so this one goes through most of the code, I have to say, is not new. I think that you all, if you get up to that point, will, it's understandable to you. I don't think that's a challenge, but the challenge is in navigating the execution of the code through the debugger. And so it's not as straightforward as just stepping over or stepping into. You kind of have to forecast where the code's going to go and set breakpoints into the future, resume script execution, wait for it to pause. And you kind of have to use that technique, which is something we haven't had to do up to this point. And so that's kind of the focus of this new video. So it's not really, it is technical, but it's not really JavaScript related. It's more general programming related stuff, which is, the stuff I really like anyway. I think we learn JavaScript insofar as we learn about programming. And I always, I've said many times the fact that we use JavaScript as an accident of history. I have no love for JavaScript. It's just kind of what the hand we were dealt at this time. And so this next video is very much along those lines too. It's about core programming concepts, not JavaScript, and definitely not underscore. So that's kind of update from me. So you'll have that to look forward to if you're in subscriber to Premium. So that's it. From here, we'll just go through and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. I'll start and I'll try to call in people in the order that they called in. And then we'll just go from there. Okay, so Andrew was first.
Hi, Gordon. So I don't have any technical questions. Actually, all the ones I'm having are being answered as I do the new process that I'm doing. I do have one non-technical question, but it can definitely wait till everybody else is done.
Let's just do it now.
Oh, it's just a point of view one, okay? Because I see so many people with laptops, Apple mostly it seems. I was wondering your opinion on the benefits of actually having one for coding, because I have a good desktop. So.
Right. What computer should I get, essentially?
Or, well, okay, yes, but also just whether I should get a laptop.
I mean, the main thing is portability. So, and that's your choice. In terms of the operating system, I don't think it matters that much. So if you have whatever you have is fine. Is almost certainly fine. If you are going to buy one now, I have a slight preference for, or I have a strong preference for Macs, but I don't know if it's any like really good reason. If that makes sense. The one thing where it does affect you is like for example, when you're doing a lot of JavaScript development will end up using the terminal. And in like everyone uses, for the most part, most programmers use some kind of Unix based terminal. So that would be like Linux terminal or Mac OS terminal. They're all Unix based. Windows is not, and so it's a little bit different. Like for example, I don't know how to use the Windows terminal. So if you have a question about your Windows terminal and you ask me, I won't be able to help you. And so that's a downside. So that's something you might want to think about. Just fewer programmers know about that, so you may not you might not have that same familiarity when you ask for help, which is, I think, it seems like not a big issue, but I think it's actually like if you have the choice, I would choose something that has a Unix-based terminal, so Mac. And then if you do have a Windows computer, you can turn it into a Linux computer, and you'll get the same thing. So
A virtual machine or something.
I don't know exactly. I've not done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know it's possible.
Okay. Because I just wanted an alternative.
That's the only thing that I would say. But really, I think it doesn't. There are ways to get around it, and it doesn't really matter. But if you're gonna if you want to get a new computer now, or your computer's gonna break, I would consider getting a Mac for that reason.
The computer's awesome, top notch. I just for the other side of things, programming, say, because you can do different, like you can even do operating system, iOS development and stuff, but also just portability. I was just wondering if you thought it was worth it for having portability, but the terminal's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, portability's got to be a personal choice. I don't know what your
iOS development and stuff, but also just portability. I was just wondering if you thought it was worth it for having portability, but the terminal's a good point.
All right, please mute when you Bijaya, please mute your computer. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. You can read a lot more from other people who have stronger opinions on these things.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, I think, is a short answer.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to read a lot more. Okay, Bijay, if you're gonna talk, you need to put on headphones and you need to turn off the YouTube live stream. Next, we'll go to let's do Ryan. Ryan, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
All right, cool. Yeah, this is my first time on live. I watch all the the YouTube streams after, but this is my first time, and I do have a question.
Okay, perfect.
How do I go about sharing my screen here? Gotcha. So what I've been doing is I got through about the fourth beast, and I couldn't really just wasn't happy with like my how much I knew and how comfortable I was. So that was about when you added that last digestion technique where you remove jQuery. So I started doing that. I just kind of went at it another way, just started like from scratch, building it, trying to build like a replica in only JavaScript. So this is about it. This is what I have right now. And the thing I'm trying to do is push edit and then get in here to edit these. And I just cannot figure out how to do that.
Yeah, so Ryan, this will be an unsatisfying answer, but I encourage you to do it the way that I laid it out. So to take the code and then remove jQuery piece by piece. And then I think I think what you're
Well,
doing
I guess
now
I'm kind of
is,
doing that.
but it's not quite. I think what you're doing is kind of taking maybe 3 steps versus removing jQuery is kind of like one step forward, and this is
Mhm.
kind of mixing removing with coming up with the code as well. Um, and so I always encourage people to to work on the smallest step first, and work on things step by step. And so I think if you and I know this is very unsatisfying advice, so I acknowledge that. But I think if you do that first, the way I have it laid out, and then you kind of pause what you're doing now and come back to it afterwards,
Okay.
I think that order will make more sense. And if you do it in that way, I don't think you'll have the question
Okay.
because you'll be very intimately familiar with how it's done currently in the app. And if you have that intimate familiarity, when you come to it new, like you're doing in this exercise with, which is I think is a great exercise, um, it will be, I think, much clearer.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank
Yep.
you.
And yeah, I think yeah, I think what you're doing is really great. But I think in terms of difficulty, it's 1 or 2 degrees more difficult, and therefore I think postponing that a little bit will make your life a lot easier.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. How has the experience been so far? It seems like you're all the way through all the videos and pretty far along.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I slacked a little. I realized, at the end, I didn't do enough before that, enough practice, just practicing stuff over and over again. So that's why, and then I've been going back. And then this exercise was great because I was pretty surprised at how much I could do. I basically got up to, I did everything, but I needed a lot of help with manipulating the DOM. So, but everything up until then was good. I mean, I had all the methods adding and editing and toggling and it was just, I just had to iterate over it a million times, each one. And it was a really good exercise and did a lot of debugger and, started that way. And then just simple steps up, baby steps. So yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice work so far.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think I think if you just kind of reorder the exercises, I think it will work itself out.
Yeah, probably.
Because the question is inherently a question if you think about it, you've answered before, right?
Well,
Because
I understand there's a thing with jQuery that makes it much easier. I do not know. I can't find out how to do that in only JavaScript. But I can't get it to focus on the element.
Well, did you do the n missing features digestion technique?
Which one is that? That's the take out 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, a while ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think if you really think about so when you're removing jQuery, and I made a half joke this morning that people get way too caught up on the fact that it says jQuery. It's just a function, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, I'm thinking about just naming it Gordon or bullshit. Some equivalent that's so obviously stupid and not real that you take an irreverent approach to it and you just don't care and you break it and you just kind of see what it does rather than, oh my god, like I need to know this or I need to know that. You just kind of have a mess around with it and see what happens approach.
Mm-hmm.
And that mindset is good because that's really what you need to do. So if you look at a line that uses bullshit, right, then you just kind of see what's happening, and you just kind of note down the things that are happening, and then each discrete small piece of work that's happening, you need to translate that into a DOM method essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then so if you write down the discrete things that are happening in English, like it should do X, it should do Y, it should do Z. Maybe those are 3 things that you observe from one bullshit method call. And then you have the DOM API docs open. You can kind of just see where is their alignment between it should do X and then one of the DOM API methods, and you will see it. It will jump out at you. And then that part will be taken care of. You take out the pseudocode that it should do X, delete that, and then you have a line of code, right? Then you move to it should do Y. You look at the DOM methods again. Something will jump out at you, right? But the key is to have those discrete things in mind so that you're very focused when you look at the DOM API list.
Yeah.
And because it has to be that specific. If you have like this hazy 3 things that are happening, there's no DOM API method that does those hazy 3 things. It might be 3 or 4.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So perhaps one thing that is really important is to, in the translation of translating bullshit to JavaScript, that you as a in-between step, really note down what observable things happen, and then I think that translation will be easier.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What do you think about renaming the library to bullshit?
I love that. I think you should rename the this keyword too to something else.
To just so what would be a good name?
Anything but this, because
yeah.
I think it's the most poorly named thing in the history of anything. Because when you're describing it, you're
using the word this.
You're using the word this, and you're pointing at this, and you don't know whether it's the this keyword or, So I think it'd be funny to rename it something just completely different.
Yeah, something.
I know. You're looking at it. You're reading this still, but just to when you're describing it.
Right. Yeah. Because I think that's a good strategy. I need to utilize. When something's really poorly named, just use a different name, and then be like, unfortunately, we live in a imperfect world, and it's called this. Because when you introduce it like that, it kind of sucks.
Right? But yeah, I like switching out jQuery putting in bullshit for jQuery.
Yeah, Gordon will be more respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is it's nothing against jQuery, or anything. It's just that like library code is just JavaScript. That's the point. So the point isn't that it's actually bullshit. The point is that it's just a function that does stuff, right? And I think people forget that because when they see a framework or a library name that's well known, they're like, oh my god, and it has like this halo effect, or it has like a lot of bad feelings, or all these emotions come up when you say a popular piece of technology.
Right.
And, if you just name it something random, then people don't feel like that. Okay, cool. Did you have any other questions, Ryan?
No, that's all for now. Thanks, man.
Okay, awesome. And thanks for joining for the first time. All right, next we'll go to Erop. Yeah, we can hear you, Erop.
Yeah. Okay. You used to say my name better than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now it's Erop.
Wait, Erop?
Erop, yes.
Erop,
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't have any questions tonight.
Okay. Erop.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Cool. All right. Well, if you do have a question that pops up, let me know.
Absolutely.
Next, we'll go to Joe. Joe, we can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah, sure. No questions once again. I'm working on stuff with Node, so I'm working on getting a database to work with some JavaScript that I wrote for a website. So it's good. It's good stuff. The everything in the lessons have actually come in really handy for everything I've been doing. Once again, still haven't gotten around to the book club, but I will. And yeah, I don't know. Just I feel pretty good about everything, and I feel like I'm in a good place now, and I know exactly what I need to do to advance, to continue to advance. So.
Yeah, awesome, Joe. I feel like over time, I feel like more confidence. I can feel it emanating from you.
Yeah, man. For sure. I mean, I can read it. I can read code and figure out what stuff's doing. So, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Joe, hope you stick around for that chat. Well, I think we'll try to keep it short because Memorial Day in the States. I don't want to take people away from their families for too long, so we'll try to keep it short. So hopefully you can stick around for the after off-air chat. All right. So next we got Bijaya. How's it going?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. Hi, Gordon. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, it's good that I came to know you about your channel or website, whatever you say. And I'm new in this field. As a matter of fact, I had never worked in the field of software. However, I learned the programming languages such as Python, JavaScript, and Ruby on my own using the open sources. And last year, I also joined a front-end bootcamp, a part-time bootcamp, of course. And now I wonder how I can go ahead to find a job for myself. And well, I'm not a pro. And well, if I do kind of research and if I do follow some of the examples or the, I can develop a website. And my dream is not to stay as a front-end developer, but to become a full stack engineer. So, but for myself, for living, I just want to know how can I work probably as a part-time or maybe full-time in the front-end field.
Okay.
In the meantime, I will keep improving my skills.
Yeah. I guess your question is a very broad one, and so I'll try to answer it succinctly, given that I can't, it's a loaded question, which with a lot of that really depends on like a lot of things that are individual to you, and but I'll try to be general and succinct, and I think a lot of people ask me this question because a lot of the other companies in this space involve themselves with the job stuff, and I take a different approach. I explicitly don't, and so I don't help people get jobs. I don't see that as part of my mission.
Okay.
Having said that, I do have like general thoughts, but I don't think anything I do, nothing I do, I think directly helps you get a job. Like I don't give people advice on how to apply or stuff like that. The one thing where I do have impacts, and the one way I do try to impact this question of how do you get a job is I think that just be the best programmer you can be.
Okay.
Right? And
that's what I'm trying to be.
Yeah, and so that's that is my mission. It's my sole mission. And I think if you're the best programmer you can be, and not just a static like a point in time, but over time you're improving, everything else just works itself out, right? So if you don't even need to be perfect really, but if you're always improving, the jobs thing will work out.
Okay.
And so my advice is generally to really focus on improving your skills. And so even when you're applying, I know applying is emotionally stressful, it's tedious, it's annoying,
Mhm.
it's intimidating, it's all these things. But even during that time, try to make sure you continue getting better, right? And
And
so
go ahead.
so maybe one thing that you might do is one really basic rule I have for when people ask me about interviewing is never miss a question twice, right?
Okay.
So the first thing is when you interview, if you get a question wrong, so after the interview, write it down and study that question and have a good answer for the next time you're asked that question. I'm not saying you will get asked the question again, but if you do that over time, your percentage of questions missed will be very, very small and shrinking
Mhm.
because there is repetition, right? So number one rule, never miss a question twice. Once you're getting 99% of questions from just
Mhm.
doing the simple thing of not ever missing a question twice, then you can focus on polish, on communication, on um, like just describing things in a way that instills confidence and clarity and answer it well, right? So like once you fix the accuracy issue, which is most students' issues at the very beginning, then you worry about the polish, right? It
Mhm.
should be tight. Your answer should be tight and like trying to get to perfection. Uh, but think of that as a two-step process, right? Don't worry about that at the beginning. Don't worry about getting it perfect and answering with like perfect clarity and being succinct and everything. At the beginning, you just kind of want to get it right and prove to yourself that you know what like you know the material, and then after that, focus on that next level, which is polish. Um, so do those two things. Only two things, very simple, right? Very simple rules, very hard to pull off, like most things. And then as a third kind of thread, make sure you're getting better at programming. In terms of like how to get better at programming, watching code is kind of what I think is the best way to get good at programming, but it's not
Mhm.
the only way. There are a lot of ways to do that. Watching code is just but one way. So yeah, so that's it. It's
Thank you, Gordon. And yeah, I have one more question. Not the least. Well, I started going through your website, was on code, and just within 2 days, I finished almost 50% of the videos. So I wonder, what is the destination of this course? I mean, what is the point? Are you preparing the people, I mean, the students, to become a software engineer, or just to know about the programming languages, JavaScript?
yeah. So you're doing practical JavaScript, right? The intro course,
Mhm.
which is a small fraction of the material.
Okay.
So yeah, so you're 50% into a very small fraction of the material,
Okay.
not all the videos.
Hmm.
The purpose is to make people really good at programming, and yeah, that's the purpose. So it's not to make you a front-end developer, not to make you a back-end developer, not to make you good at JavaScript even, not to make you get a job,
Okay.
not to those are not goals. I think those are definitely things that happen along the way, right? But the real mission of the company is um, the internal mission I have is to help people, number one, get better than me as the very
Hmm.
first step. And I think that's an inevitability. I think that will happen, and I'll be able to do that on a reproducible level.
Hmm.
Once that happens and people are actually better than me, it's to help them reach kind of the theoretical limit of quality of what, like basically where I'm trying to go, and help them grow along with me, right? And so it's a very, it's not focused on a specific outcome, but rather it's continuous improvement, right? So they're markers of that. The distinct one, concrete one for me is students should be better than me, right?
Okay, that's kind of cool mission.
So
And
yeah, so it's much broader than I think the way you're thinking.
yes, I appreciate your feeling. I appreciate your mission. And what kind of people, or what kind of students do you think should participate in your channel or in your program? Like, I mean, just the engineers, I mean, the software engineers, or the beginners, or something like that.
You really just need to want to get better at programming, and like the approach here has to kind of resonate with you, and that's it, right? So there are people, like if you just look at the people in this hangout right now, a mix of ages all around the world, doing different parts of their lives. We have students that are, in school, like in college. We have students that are already engineers working at companies,
Okay.
and we have everyone in between. So the unifying thing is they want to get better.
Okay, thank you, Gordon. I think your mission is clear to me. I will keep participating in your program and going through your courses. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, the most important thing is when you get stuck or you're not sure about something, ask. And first, try to figure it out, and then if you can't, ask. That's the most most important thing. It's kind of like it's kind of like the interviewing thing. There are really two rules to interviewing. Don't mess up a question more than once. Two, and then work on polish. Right, that's it. With learning a program, if you have an assumption about something, to like get rid of it. Make sure you can confidently say one thing or another, right? And just have the one rule of programming: no assumptions, right? It's a really simple rule, and if we all tried to, if you want to post that on your wall, and when you're programming, write that down and think about how you can remove assumptions as you're coding. That's it.
Thank you, Gordon.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, so let's go to Sharad. Sharad, I didn't want to call on you while you were driving because if you like crashed or something, I would feel responsible. So, but it looks like you're sitting now. Sharad. Sharad. Oh, I can't hear you.
I guess I think I'm breaking.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Just hear me. I think I'm breaking up or something.
Yeah. Did you have a question? Maybe. Did you have like a quick question?
I don't know if you can hear me now.
We can hear you with some distortion.
Ask questions. I think I'm finally starting to understand.
Okay. Well,
you can?
Yeah, I think you said I think I'm finally starting
to be a delay.
Okay. Sure. The sound is pretty bad. So if you do,
I'm finally starting to be finished with the how-to questions.
Okay, Sharad, this sounds real bad. So if you want to say something, then if you type into the chat, I'll read it out. But we can't hear you, so yeah. But yeah, and if you have a question, type it on the chat, and I'll make sure to take a look at that. All right, so we have one more person that just called in. Dan, what's up, Dan? How's it going? Oh, we can't. You're muted. We still can't hear you.
Try changing your mic settings in Google Hangouts.
Andrew, is that Japanese on his jacket? What language is that?
Yes, it is. It's hard to read though because it's blurry, but it looks like a request from the last part of it.
Dan, we still can't hear you. Dan, how about this? I'll end the broadcast now since you were the last one, and just stay on the line, and we have a casual discussion that we continue after the broadcast ends. So so you'll get a chance to kind of get your mic settings to work, and then I'll get to you when you're ready. Is that cool? But I'll end the broadcast for now.
Oh. Okay.
Because it may also, Hangouts is not the most reliable piece of software, so sometimes restarting your computer makes a difference.
Can I quickly tell you something? I don't know
Sure.
if I don't know why I can't see it on here. I see it on my phone though. It says Sherrod asked a question. It looks like he's typing. It says, "Sorry, on my phone, didn't know you were going to call on me." LOL. And he said, "Coding versus developing versus programming. What's the difference?"
I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, that's what he said, anyways.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. I didn't see it in the chat. Interesting. Like I said, Hangouts is not the most reliable piece of software. It barely works in Chrome, which is weird, but that's kind of how things are. Okay, so Dan, just take your time in getting the mic to work, and we'll get back to you. For people that are watching on the YouTube live stream, I'm gonna cut the session right now. So thanks for joining and watching, and hope it was helpful. If you do have any suggestions for me or questions, feel free to email me. My email address is gordon@watchandcode.com. And if you can grab a hold of me there. Again, hope it was helpful, and look forward to seeing you next week. And then the last note I kind of mentioned is I'm going to stop the broadcast now, but we'll continue the discussion in the Google Hangout link chat for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so. So if you want to hear what Dan has to say, then then call in for that. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you.